This horrifying story, which took place in 2005, shocked all of Britain with its brutality. A young woman, who had already built a successful modeling career by the age of 18, was found 10 meters from her own front door. The police invested enormous resources in searching for the perpetrator, and it was only a tiny DNA sample that helped them solve the case. Sally Anne Bowman is born to Paul and Linda on 11th of September 1987 in Carshalton. She's the youngest of four with three older sisters, Nicole, Michelle, and Danielle. Living in the London suburb of Croydon, Sally Anne is a born performer. She loves nothing more than singing, dancing, and entertaining. Working part-time as a hairdresser and model, she's recently won a competition as the face of Swatch watches. She's also caught the attention of a leading model agency who wants to sign her up. Her dreams of being on the front cover of Vogue may not be as far away as she thinks. 25. September 2005. It's Saturday evening, and having had a busy day working at the hair salon, Sally Anne is now at her mom's house relaxing. Having turned 18 less than 2 weeks ago, she's still in the mood to celebrate and is getting ready for a girls' night out in Croydon. At 6:05 p.m., her sister arrives to pick her up, and as she leaves her mom's flat, she waves goodbye and thanks her for letting her stay, saying a final, "Love you, Mum." Sally Anne's boyfriend, Lewis Sproston, is also out that night, partying in Kingston upon Thames with his friends. They have an on-off relationship and both find it difficult to trust each other. Sally Anne is convinced that Lewis is out with other girls, and Lewis is certain Sally Anne will be out flirting with boys. Winding each other up, they spend Saturday night on their mobile phones texting, calling, and bickering. It's a typical teenage romance. At 10 p.m. inside Lloyd's bar, Sally Anne meets her sister, Nicole. They spend the rest of the night dancing. By 1 a.m., Sally Anne has returned to a friend's home, and by 2:30 a.m., she decides to see Lewis and asks to be picked up from Croydon Town Center to be taken back to her flat. Annoyed at being asked, Lewis reluctantly drives over. Angry with Sally Anne, they argue on the way home and spend almost 2 hours bickering in the car outside her flat in Blenheim Crescent, South Croydon. It's during this argument that Lewis believes he sees a man looking into the car. Eventually, Lewis loses his patience and leaves Sally Anne just outside her house. He sees her walking towards her home and deciding she will be safe, he drives off. What happens next will haunt Lewis for the rest of his life. At 4:15 a.m., barely 10 yards from her front door, Sally Anne is brutally attacked. Her assailant is armed with a knife and stabs her 7 times. Her screams are heard by a couple of neighbors at 4:20 a.m. Hesitating, the murderer waits in the bushes for any lights to come on. When they don't, he continues, the attacker violently rapes her, savagely biting her. The police team, led by Detective Superintendent Stuart Cundy, launches a murder investigation. It is one of the largest ever undertaken by the Metropolitan Police Service. As they make their inquiries, one person starts to stand out as the potential killer. It's Lewis Sproston, Sally Anne's boyfriend, and the last person to see her alive. He's arrested on the Sunday afternoon. When questioned, he appears to confirm his guilt when he utters, "Is this about last night?" The police believe they have got their man. Crucially, DNA from the killer is recovered from Sally Anne's body. All they need to do is match the sample to Lewis. Swab tests are taken and processed, but there is no match, and Sally Anne's innocent boyfriend is released. The breakthrough comes on 15th of June 2006. England is playing Trinidad and Tobago in the FIFA World Cup and win the match. Mark Dixie, 35, is watching the game at his local pub with friends when an innocent man spills his pint over him. Erupting into a violent outburst, he gets the man outside, where in full view of two police support officers, he pushes him. This fatal error sees him arrested and taken to Crawley Police Station. Here, he is duly processed and a DNA swab taken. This will be all the police need. 2 weeks later, he will be arrested for murder. Luckily for the police, Dixie gives them his correct address. He's been living and working as a chef at Ye Old Six Bells pub in Horley, Surrey. His job could make his arrest problematic, so the police decide to create a story to get him out of the kitchen. They needn't bother. As the two officers turn around, they notice Dixie taking a cigarette break, and they take their opportunity to arrest him. He's calm and unfazed by the whole incident. Disturbingly, one of the officers notes how Dixie's heart rate fails to change, which he finds chilling. Taken in for questioning and still appearing cold and emotionless, Dixie answers no comment to every question asked. On closer inspection of his room, police make a sickening discovery. They find he has been masturbating to photos and video footage of Sally Anne Bowman, reliving her brutal and callous murder. On the 4th of February, 2008, the trial starts at the Old Bailey. Dixie has previously entered a plea of not guilty to the surprise of everyone concerned. There is compelling evidence that strongly suggests this is a lie. Forensic scientist Julie Ann Cornelius informs the jury that there is a 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance that the DNA found on Sally Ann's body is not from Dixie. What do the defense team have up their sleeve? Sensationally, Dixie stands up in court to deny murder and explain his plea. He tells the jury that he came across Sally Ann's body but thought she had passed out. Deciding to rape her, it was only after he bit her cheek and she didn't respond that he realized she was dead. The prosecution team is forced to call to the witness stand 2 of Dixie's previous victims. They need the jury to understand just how barbaric this man is. Not only for the attacks he carried out, but also for forcing them to relive their horrific ordeals. Police believe that this is probably why Dixie entered his not guilty plea. Members of the Bowman family present at the trial are disgusted by what they hear, and at one point Linda Bowman leaves the courtroom in floods of tears. It takes 3 hours for the jury to find Dixie guilty. He responds by shaking his head. In sentencing him to life imprisonment, Judge Gerald Gordon recommends he serves at least 34 years in prison. He's so repulsed by the crime that he refuses to even repeat it. He's also disturbed by Dixie's conduct because he's not shown the slightest remorse for his actions. And that concludes our coverage of this tragic story. If you found this video informative or thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on cases like these. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with your friends and give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Thank you for watching.